listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Once Upon a Time After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Once Upon a Time After Show.
Hello, Once Upon a Time fans. Bing is for doing, and we are back doing another Once Upon a Time after show right here on AFTERBuzzTV.com. So excited, we're finally back after this very long break. I'm your host, Cathy Kelley, and I'm going to go around the table and have everyone introduce themselves.
Hey everyone, I'm Tiona Hobson.
Hi guys, I'm Marisa Serafini.
And I'm Kaori Takee.
So, how does it feel to actually have another Once Upon a Time episode to talk about?
Feels awesome. And it's a good one to talk about.
Yes. I mean, we were on, what, a 5 or 6 week hiatus.
Yes.
And I mean, I think I've seen so many tweets from fans, you know, both from our podcast and just like fans in general of the show, excited to finally be back from hiatus and with a bang. It was huge.
It's a big bang. They didn't waste any time, which I loved. They just got right back into it. They didn't kind of, you know, shoot around the shit a little bit. You know, they just went in and dove in.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was a great opening and very comedic in ways, and it was just a nice start to the second half of this season.
So, anything surprising in this episode overall to you guys?
I think I thought I would see more of Hook in this episode, but I think that what next week's episode kind of looks like it will be more Hook-centric, so.
Yeah, no, I agree. More Hook and Cora, because they both arrived at the same time, but yet we hardly saw both of them.
That's true.
So we left off after, I guess, before the hiatus with Hook and Cora in Storybrooke, which everyone was just flabbergasted by. I mean, it was huge because everyone's now in Storybrooke, I guess, except Cora and, or not Cora, Aurora and Mulan.
Oh yeah, I was thinking, where were they? I thought about that for a snippet.
Yes. So Hook and Cora are in Storybrooke, and Cora unleashes her magic. She knows how to work her magic in Storybrooke, unlike Regina. So, I mean, she gets right off and turns someone into a fish. It was pretty intense.
They're fitting.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who that character could have been that they turned, and they never referenced it, so I never figured it out. But if anyone else have any ideas?
I mean, I'm guessing it was just some Joe Schmo.
Yeah.
That was actually the first thought that ran through my head. Since I didn't recognize him, I was like, this guy's not going to be around long.
Yeah.
Because you know that, like, even Gus, even though he only had, like, 2 episodes to shine, he still got
a name.
Some airtime. He got a name. He wasn't just, like, the random guy who sells bait. So,
Not true.
I don't know. But if anyone else out there knows who that guy was, we would love
in
to
the script
hear.
he was just like dead fish #1 or something.
But I mean,
Probably.
to be turned into a fish after 2 lines, that's pretty depressing, isn't it?
I would love to be a fish on Once Upon a Time.
Yeah. It's like, how do you come back from that?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see like his resume. Fish.
I did love his one line though. Like, I feel like in this episode they really stepped up the comedy side of Once Upon a Time. It was a lot more lighthearted, and his line about whoa, that was cool like a cool magic trick to make that ship disappear.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
Were
really
you
funny.
a magician back in our land? Like, what?
Yeah. Doesn't find anything suspicious that she just did that. But she makes the ship disappear and turns the tackle salesman into a fish. So you knew she was going to get some revenge and stir up some things in Storybrooke. But she doesn't really unveil her plan. She just tells Hook to sit tight, kind of questions whether he actually wants to get revenge on Rumpelstiltskin. So what did you guys think of that? Like, did you think that she was just going to go after her own, things?
I kind of thought that she would go after her thing first and then help him out eventually, and that is how it turned out. But that's kind of what I imagined was going to happen, based on how she spoke to him.
No, I agree. I kind of liked how Cord tries to stop Hook, and I don't mean to jump ahead, but like near the end where Cord tells Hook like you can't take on Rumple, you're not prepared, and then more at the end of the episode, you see Snow White tell Emma that you can't take on Regina and you're not prepared. Like just both of them in that parallel.
The mother and daughter are just so powerful, and I can't even imagine in coming episodes how powerful they could be together. It's seriously going to be unstoppable.
The thing is, like, one of them is going to have to die. With the episode Queen of Hearts foretold, one of those queens, I think, is going to have to die. The queen is dead. I mean,
yeah.
So, maybe they're going to duke it out with each other.
So this whole episode was very Regina-centric, and it was finding out whether she could change. And we're going to talk first about Regina in the past. Before we get to that, I just want to quickly mention, if you're not watching us on AfterBuzzTV.com, if you're not watching us on YouTube, you can actually subscribe to us on iTunes. We have not just the Once Upon a Time podcast, but we are going to have 58 different podcasts every single week this season. So if you like any other shows, definitely subscribe to those. Check those out. And then also, if you leave a comment and rate us on iTunes, that would be amazing. We would love you forever. The only one that we got over break was Kessa3 left an amazing comment. She said, she or he, I don't know which it is, but they left a comment and just, talked about how they really enjoy this season of the after shows. So it's always great to hear positive feedback or ways that we can improve. So please, let us know how we can give you a better podcast, and let us know if you like us.
And tell a friend.
Yes, and tell a friend, because that's really how we grow here at AfterBuzz and are able to bring you all of this great free content.
Yeah,
so
a friend a day, please.
Or two.
Or two.
Yeah, or two friends.
Or a million, if you're popular.
That'd be nice.
So Regina, in the past, we see, we get a lot more backstory on how she really was evil right before the curse was enacted. And we see Snow and Charming had just defeated King George, and they kind of do this test. They set Regina up and have Snow wandering through the forest alone, and Regina tries to kill her. And I feel like this is the first reference throughout the episode that she can't change. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I think that was probably the first reference. I thought that I liked how they set her up, because even I was kind of like, Snow, really, you're wandering through the forest by yourself right now in the middle of like war times,
and just happens to trip on that random rock.
She trips a lot.
We were like, of course.
There's like one of those animated GIFs going around right now of like how clumsy the Charming family is, and it has Snow, Emma, and someone else like just tripping over everything. And I didn't realize how often they trip until I saw that online, and then I watched this episode, and I was like, wow, they really do fall over things a lot. Yeah. Sorry, that was a little bit off topic. But no, I mean, I thought, I'm thinking, Snow, be smarter here. But I kind of liked how they finally outsmarted Regina and were able to capture her and get her, to stop with her magic for the moment, at least.
I like how this episode had multiple tests for Regina in both of the realms, in the real world and fairytale land. And just to see how evil Regina really is. Yeah.
And
how good or bad she is.
She reacted differently in both lands. So she potentially had, we all know that she's changed in this land, but the other characters don't believe it yet. And in the past, during this whole interaction with Snow and Regina, Snow actually offers Regina a parlay, and she really gives her the benefit of the doubt, even though Regina is completely evil in this situation and was trying to take advantage of Snow. But with the help of the Blue Fairy, they trap her, and they say Regina's reign is over. So, I don't know. It was pretty intense. They took her, and then that whole arrow scene was like...
Which arrows?
When they tried to
Firing Squad.
Firing Squad.
I thought it was interesting how Snow was giving Regina so many chances in the past to redeem herself, and then you kind of saw in the present day with Emma giving her, the benefit of the doubt, and Snow just being like, no, she's guilty, and it's kind of it was interesting to look at how, being Snow's daughter, Emma was kind of the same way in her compassion for Regina, 'cause she's like, look, I know that she's a good person, and you heard Snow saying practically the same things in the past.
I mean, like with Regina, in the past Regina, she doesn't have anyone to love to live for or want to change for, and that's the big difference, is that past Regina is already dead, so she's like, I might as well be evil and have my last vengeance, whereas the future Regina has Henry to think about.
But you knew that they weren't going to really execute Regina, because we know that we know that Snow White and Prince Charming, they're beacons of good. They're the good characters, and to see them actually execute someone, that just, what makes them any more evil if they do that, if they do execute Regina.
They kind of become on her level.
Exactly.
Well, David was down to do it. Snow, who stopped at the very last minute.
They had that round table, and it seemed like everyone from, past Enchanted Forest was there. It was Snow, Charming, Jimmy Cricket,
Granny.
Granny. Yeah, and they were all against Regina. They said that they wanted to kill her, and that was the only option. And Snow was the one who stepped up and said, you guys haven't seen, or she said to Charming, you guys haven't seen, her before. You never knew Regina when she was good and when she was pure. I was the only one that saw that. Everyone sees the evil side of her now, but I know that there's still something deeper in there.
Go ahead.
Well, do we think some of that has to do with, I was reading online, I can't remember where I saw this, but someone pointed out that Snow hasn't actually ever killed anyone in battle. Or at least we haven't seen her kill anyone. It's always been her knocking someone out unconscious. So maybe it's kind of in her good conscience of like this pure person that Snow White stands for, that she couldn't just, condemn someone to death like that.
Well, I think she feels like there's good in Regina or the Queen, because the Queen once saved her life. So she kind of owes that to her and the benefit of the doubt because of that.
Yeah. So we have a caller on the line right now, so let's patch them through. Hello, caller.
Hi.
What's your name?
This is Nicholas O'Dean.
Hi, Nicholas.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Do you have anything to say about this episode?
This had a much better ending than the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite part?
I liked like at the end how they made like Jiminy Cricket actually be alive like at the end, because like there was no indication of that, and then all of a sudden they just dropped that he was alive in the hull of the ship. I thought that was a good cliffhanger.
Yeah, we're talking about Regina in the past and Regina in the future right now. So do you think, do you agree with Snow in the past that Regina could change? Or do you think that it was all Henry's doing in Storybrooke?
It was all Henry's doing in Storybrooke. I think that Snow should have, back in those times, Snow should have killed her in the execution, because there wouldn't be a storyline then. But like, so I'm glad that like she didn't. But it makes like the if we were doing like the word perfect and trying to get storyboard trying to get it perfect, it would be Snow wouldn't kill her, and then none of that would happen, and we would live happily ever after.
So it really was. I mean, we've all been talking about this. It really was Henry that changed, Cora or Regina, and it's funny because even though she had her father, who was that one guy who she loved, he really couldn't stop her in the past.
Right. I mean, he was sitting there begging her to show respect and regret, and she showed no regret when she had her last speech. So I completely agree with this panel about Henry being, or love, being the savior.
Because I really thought her dad was going to be the one to, when he kind of pled with her, I was like, okay, she always listens to her dad. She's a daddy's girl.
So see, I remembered that, like, she killed her dad, so how important was her dad, unfortunately, you know?
Yeah.
So...
And
back during those times, like she didn't, like she was willing to kill her dad. She was willing to kill her mom. Like she was willing to kill anybody. But like when it came to Henry, like she actually like loves Henry now. When she, she says that she. She was doing like the love is weakness, so she she couldn't have any weakness, so she had to kill everybody she loved. But now she actually does get love now, and she does actually love Henry.
Yeah, definitely, all agree. But I think we even mentioned while we were watching the episode how her father Henry, she treated him kind of as a servant. She didn't treat him as her blood relative, which is interesting.
Isn't that how we all treat our fathers? No, I'm totally kidding.
But I mean, why do you think that was? Do you think it was because she saw her mother treat him like that, or is it just because she is that evil that she doesn't really respect anyone else?
I'm not convinced that that's her father still. And I think that might be.
I think back then, like, she actually didn't really love, she really didn't know love. Like, she loves Henry now, but, like, back then, like, she thought she loved her father, but, like, she didn't love her, father, as much as she loves, the new Henry.
I think it was kind of like a form of... respect. Like she kind of lacks a certain respect for her father. She loves him, but she doesn't want to listen to him, and that shows a sign of like disrespect. Yeah.
Well, Nicholas, I have one more question for you. So we actually we saw in this episode that Regina's father, Henry, asked Regina, he actually pleaded for her when she was in the jail cell and asked her to beg for Snow and Charming's forgiveness in order to be saved. And she ends up saying that she regrets, not that she regrets, all of her actions, but she regrets not killing more people, not inflicting more pain. So why do you think she chose to do that as opposed to faking remorse?
Snow said, like, she wanted to go out strong, but like she was evil back in that time. Like she didn't, she didn't want to go out like doing like a peace and love.
That's just not her.
Yeah. I think she kind of welcomed death in a way. She just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
I think she was still going to escape either way. So that's why she had all these bold proclamations.
Yeah. But she almost died, except Snow saved her.
Yeah.
Maybe that was her plan.
So.
Sorry, I think we cut you off.
Yeah, sorry, we got excited.
Nicholas? Okay. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Nicholas.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye. So, we had that whole situation with Regina, and, I mean, the arrows, everything was flying. she didn't show remorse, which I actually thought was a weird plan. You know, you would think that she would fake remorse and then still live and hope to somehow kill them in the future. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like her only goal was to kill Snow, and she felt defeated at that point. So I really think she just welcomed death at that point. She just didn't care.
Yeah.
I got to point out her wardrobe. When she was all tied up, she was wearing gray, so we couldn't really tell if she was good
or bad at that moment.
bad. So you could tell she was going to switch. She started off good, but then she became evil.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't even pick up on that.
And I mean, there was that scene in the woods when Snow was wearing pure white and Regina was wearing all black.
Yes.
That amazing costume, I think, that she had with like the scales or something or feathers on it.
Fantastic.
It was amazing.
Clad in armor.
So Charming tells the firing squad to fire against Regina. And it comes about 2 inches from her face, the arrows,
even closer.
Until Snow yells to stop, and the blue fairy comes out of nowhere again and just like uses her magic to stop the arrows right in front of Regina's face. And they have this whole predicament now as to what to do with Regina. So Rumpelstiltskin, who didn't get much airtime this episode, comes up with a test. And the test is to, I guess, fool Regina into seeing whether she is good or evil. And
Well, I'm confused.
Yeah.
I feel like it was Snow that came up with the test, and Rumpel gave Snow the protection of never being able to harm them, right?
I think that it was, I think Rumpel proposed the test.
Okay.
Yeah.
He
That was a
came to
confusing
her
scene.
to say, what if you test her to see if she can change?
Okay.
Because Snow White wanted to know if she was good or evil,
Yeah.
and then Rumpel said he could do the test.
Yeah, which we still don't really know what his reasons were behind that, other than he wanted to, I guess he did want to see her live so that she could enact this curse, because that was his plan the entire time.
Yeah.
And he even says to Snow, he's like, well, you don't really know what I want with her. Those are my own opinions, and I'm going to keep them to myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he's always one step ahead of the game.
Oh, completely.
He has the whole game plan.
Even though he told Snow originally that he came to see Regina's execution.
Yeah.
What a liar and a schemer.
So what was he gonna do if Snow hadn't have stepped up to stop the arrows?
I think he always knew. Maybe he would have stopped them himself.
He probably knew the good of Snow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something was going to happen. You knew that she wasn't going to
Yeah,
die.
because even when Regina was walking away from that whole situation, when Charming said to take her back to the prison, she kind of was smirking, like, okay,
Right.
like she
that
knew
too.
that she was gonna get out of this situation by being herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote smirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, she smirked. I was like, what is that smirk about? I'm gonna do evil things and then walk away like, yeah, I got away with that.
But it's, I mean, it kind of backfired again. I mean, she has this test unknowingly, and Snow, again, we know something's going up when she walks into the place by herself,
Right.
which has happened twice. I mean, this is the second test, really, that they've given her in, the past Enchanted Forest. And so Regina gets a hold of Snow's knife and tries to stab her, not knowing that Rumpel had put a protection spell on Snow and Charming, so that Regina could not hurt them in Enchanted Forest. And I was kind of wondering until the end of the episode when he said, you can hurt them in another land, whether she could hurt them anywhere or couldn't hurt them anywhere, or if it was just restrained to Enchanted Forest.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think of this whole test?
It was kind of a surprise, but not a surprise, and I felt really like I was shocked, to be honest, that Regina did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We knew that Snow wasn't going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it because at the beginning of the test, you saw Snow. She was really sincere, and she really did want to find out the truth from Regina, if she was good or bad. And then it just happened to take a turn. You're like, that was a test all along.
Right.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is everyone storms in, and they decide to banish Regina. And this kind of plays back into the beginning of season 1, where Rumple goes to visit Regina, and he proposes this. He says, you know, you can't hurt them here, but you can hurt them elsewhere. See, I really am your friend. She should have known all along that he did the healing spell, and he's giving you this other land to go to, so...
And, I mean, I feel like Snow, you know better than to make a deal with Rumple and, you know, listen to the words. So when she made the deal for the test and got the protection spell, like, she should have been like, okay, yeah, can't help you or hurt you anywhere here.
Yeah.
But, you know, okay, Rumple, what does that really mean? Like, are there other lands? Like, that's what I would have been questioning him about, but...
Yeah.
Storybrooke.
Rumple then, you know, gave Snow, like, some sort of like hope when the curse was going to happen with Emma. So I mean, Rumple is like teeter-tottering on both sides.
Well, it's just something that we've always kind of known but have never really seen, how he is the one, he is the puppeteer, he is the mastermind behind everything. And we are finally seeing, especially in this episode, how he managed to do all of this. So, you know, Regina thinks it's her idea to go to Storybrooke when it's really not. And, you know, was this Rumple's idea so that he could get back to Bay?
Yeah.
Because he thinks that Bay is in, you know, the world? I don't even know what to call it. The world land. But
World land.
Real
the real world. So we see, you know, like we know that Regina constructs this whole curse, and then she says, I have a wedding to crash.
Yep.
Which is Snow and Charming's wedding, which brings us back to episode
Pilot.
1, season 1. Yeah.
360.
Yes. It's pretty
I love how they tied that all in because
So good.
yeah, it's just like, man, how long have you been waiting for that?
I mean, how do they keep track? I mean, my God, I don't know how they sleep at night.
Hopefully
I'd be
it's
working like crazy.
I mean, it seems a lot like how they wrote Lost, where everything kind of intertwines, but hopefully it won't have an awful ending where everyone's still wondering what happened.
You're not all dead. In the end.
So I know we've kind of touched on this while we were talking about Regina in the past, but Regina in present-day Storybrooke, she really is trying to change. She's going to, you know, therapy with Archie. She hasn't used magic. And the times that she has used magic, although there have been a couple slip-ups, she's pretty much used it for good. And it seems like people are trying to include her in things more. We saw the episode kick off with Snow and Charming and Emma's return party, or their coming home party, and Emma invites Regina. She's trying to include her in the family, and she says, you know, this is what Henry would have wanted, or this is what Henry asked for.
And plus, Regina did save them, and she wasn't a deciding factor in helping them, helping Emma and Snow return. So they did owe Regina a little favor.
And they did invite her to dinner at the end of the winter finale when they all went to dinner. They totally left her alone in the woods.
Was it just me, or was when Snow was debating with Emma, like, why'd you invite her here? She tried to kill us like 2 days ago. Did she try to kill her? I was like, what is she talking about?
Well, because her and Rumple did put that curse over the well to stop Cora from coming in.
But then why didn't she put it into like it just makes me so sad that they're thinking so negatively of her, because like she did try to initially not really kill you, but kill Cora.
Because
Regina's tried to kill a lot.
Yeah, she tried to kill them a lot more times in the past too.
But I think it's one of those,
hard to let go.
It's
you
one of
tried
those
to kill
things
me
too that like we as an audience see that she's changed, but Emma, Snow, Charming haven't seen any of that. Like they've seen little bits and pieces, but they haven't seen as much as we've seen as an audience. And
they've just literally been gone.
Yeah. And the audience hasn't seen just how many times she's tried to kill them in the past.
I mean, I am a huge Regina fan at this point.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's just because like even tonight we found out there was 2 more times in there where Regina has tried to kill Snow that we didn't know about before, you know, and there's no way Emma would know about this past because she wasn't there. Henry wasn't there, so it's like, hey guys, we lived through this. We know what she can really be like. You guys are seeing her in her transitional phase where she's nice and sweet. You don't know the evil witch we've been dealing with.
So like that's all true. So do you agree that like when they didn't invite her to dinner after they saved, that it was kind of like, all right. that I understand.
Yeah.
I understood, but as an audience member, I do see the good.
Right.
So it's hard to not feel bad for Regina right now. But when you see what she's done in the past too, it's like, how does one good deed outshine all the bad deeds that you've done in the past?
Yeah,
Does
I'm all
that
about
warrant?
like forgive and forget. But it's kind of hard to forget that someone tried to kill you.
Couple times.
Multiple times.
Yeah, starting from when you were a child. Like, this has been a whole lifetime of her trying to kill me.
Yeah.
And plus, she did put a curse on everyone.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. While she was manipulated, she did those actions on her own accord.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I mean, she is trying to change, but I understand why they aren't that forgiving yet.
But she has love now, or she loves somebody now.
They don't see that though.
Emma might. Kind
And can we backtrack for just a second
Yeah.
to a really funny scene about how Emma and
Great
Henry
opening.
walk in on Snow and Charming in bed?
Yeah.
Because not only did you see, I mean, that's like your grandparents. Like Henry saw his grandparents in bed.
It was a little scandalous for Disney.
That's what I thought too. I thought it
Yeah.
was scandalous.
I was like, oh
hey.
my gosh, but it was so cute too.
And that line about, I think what is it? Snow and Charming said to each other, they're like, well, we have a lot of like ruining of our child to do or whatever. Like we have to include some like traumatic experiences
the
for our child.
scenarios for our child to
But Henry
walk
didn't
in
really
on.
get what was happening. So.
Henry was just like, hey, we're gonna make tacos.
Yeah.
Henry was so excited about those
Like
tacos.
he's so smart about like the curse and everything, but when it comes to sex, I was
What,
like,
what are you still doing in bed? It's the middle of the day.
And I love how David was like, and I had to help her rest.
yes.
They really have been stepping up their comedy game.
Yeah.
Like as we said earlier.
I will use that one day.
That's funny. No, I like how there's more comedy in this, because in past episodes there's been a lot of darkness, so now they're trying to balancing that.
Yeah. They're giving us a little lightness before it goes dark again.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. So, moving on to outside the party, Emma says to Regina, you know, the reason why I invited you is because of Henry, and also because Archie told me that you're actually trying to change and go through therapy, which sparks Regina getting very angry
Big mistake.
at Archie Hopper.
I would be angry too. That total violation of doctor-patient confidentiality.
Yeah.
Completely agree with that.
But I understand his motives for it. He was trying to let, you know, Emma know that she was safe and that she was trying to change. I think he was doing it with good intentions. I just don't think that Regina saw that. I think she was, you know.
Well, yeah.
She saw it as a weakness.
I mean, I think if I was in therapy and my doctor said something out of the goodness of his heart, I would still be livid. I don't think there's an
What
excuse
if I
for
didn't
that.
want my friends to know I was in therapy?
Right.
Just yet. I'm not ready to break the news to them that.
So I understand her, like.
Yeah.
I would rather, you know that she was in therapy and trying to change than just seeing her try to do it by herself, because I feel like she would have more of a chance of succeeding with other people's help.
Right, but she, you know,
She doesn't see it as that.
exactly, and a lot of people wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I totally understand why she was upset.
She said to Archie that she thought that he was reminding everyone of her past and not telling them about the future, and how she's trying to be a better person.
Yeah, and when she said that, I was like, that completely makes sense, because Archie telling them like, oh, don't be scared of her.
Yes.
She is reminding them about it.
It's reminding them that they have something to be scared of.
Exactly.
And I love that she kind of threatened him and was like, you're lucky I've changed.
She was just angry.
Whoa.
But that was like a nice,
Foreshadowing.
there was a nice threat that was like, you're lucky I've changed, meaning I'm not going to hurt you, which is, you know.
Which I could do right now. Let me remind you, Archie. I could dispose of you, you cricket.
Very easily. You bug. Hey, bug. Oh my gosh. And then he was also on the dock with Pongo.
Yeah.
From 101 Dalmatians. Which is just another thing. I always wonder when characters come over from Enchanted Forest and they're animals in Enchanted Forest, how come some of them turn into humans and some of them don't?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Gus
Like
Gus.
Archie was a grasshopper and he turned into a human, and Gus Gus turned into a human, but Pongo Still, yeah.
Because Pongo's way too cute to turn to
Maybe. Oh,
But we haven't seen Pongo in the fairytale land.
Yeah.
we haven't.
So maybe he doesn't have a fairytale
was thinking-
equivalent.
And because Archie started off as a human and got turned into a grasshopper.
That's true.
I'm not sure
Gus
about
Gus?
Gus Gus, but I know that, they did take, at least in the cartoon, Gus Gus was always a mouse, but they did
they
take like
changed
He could
they
talk,
did take
too.
some
Yeah.
of the humans and change them into animals for her carriage and stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe in Fairytale Land, Gus Gus was a person.
Yeah.
Right.
got turned
I
in.
see.
It seems like
mouse or
thus far, anyone who has talked in a Disney movie, or any animal that has talked in a Disney movie, has turned into a human in Storybrooke. But everyone that,
Yeah.
all of the ones that haven't talked or don't have human personalities, I guess.
Personification
Yeah.
of
It
animals.
might be
Wait, did the dogs talk in
They talk to
101
each other.
They talk
They
to
didn't
each
talk-
other.
okay.
They didn't
yes.
talk to humans. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it might be safer to be an animal in Storybrooke.
Although once Cora came to Archie's place to start her plan, she did kind of do some magic thing to Pongo.
Yeah, she like froze him
Yeah.
so he would shut up, I guess.
See, at least she was like, I'm not going to hurt you, so here's some powder over here.
She could have done much worse.
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
she didn't hurt
Yeah.
Pongo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are led to believe that she kills Archie, which we find out later she doesn't actually kill him. She just trades him out for the fish
The
guy.
fish guy?
Yeah. So she did
least-
kill someone
She
in
did
this
kill
episode.
someone.
And she does this because, as we saw in the last episode, she wants to break Regina down as far as possible because that's when she thinks she will be able to be let back into her life again.
I think ultimately she was waiting to find a way to have Henry turn his back on her. And when that happened, she'd be broken.
Yeah. She needed to lose Henry
Yeah.
completely in order to be broken.
Yep.
She needed to lose everything
Yeah.
to be broken.
Yeah. And it seems like she has. I mean, while there was 1 second where, Emma and Snow and Charming questioned if Regina did it or not, they went to Rumple. They asked him if he did it. And he says, well, there's one witness. It's Pongo. And he uses a dream catcher, which I find very interesting since since I guess the beginning of this season, we've been wondering what the significance of all these dream catchers are. And he says that there are multiple uses for them, not just for catching dreams, but for seeing memories. And I wonder if there are any other uses.
There's got to be, because there was a dream catcher with the episode of Tallahassee.
Yeah.
You
But
That's where
that
my
was when
mind
they
went.
weren't magical.
but it was there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
Still
it was there,
found
but-
its way
Yeah.
to her, even though she didn't know maybe what its use was yet.
A dream catcher, dreams were important the last half season.
But it's all relative because dreams are mental images, memories are mental images. So I can see how they would use a dream catcher for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well,
I just wish that dream catcher could have shown that it was Cora, like reveal, like the sign.
but that was her whole plan. She was
know.
disguised as Regina the entire time, so they would think it was Regina. And I find it so interesting that she knew that they could, even though Pongo was frozen, they would use a dream catcher. And that just shows how closely she knows, or how well she knows Rumpelstiltskin and all of his moves. So she's almost got more power than he does right now.
And she still has what she talked about in the beginning of the episode, the element of surprise, because no one knows that they're there. No one would suspect that they're there because they think that they're still away. So you can do a lot more and get away with it in the lurking, dark corners than otherwise.
Didn't you guys get chills when you saw Cora staring at Regina like a short distance away? I
Yeah.
was like, man, this is getting close.
Yeah.
It's like she's right there and you don't even know she's watching.
It's your mom. It's your mom.
Yeah.
I kind of like the fact how they got to Rumple, because when they were thinking, oh, and it's not Regina, then who else is it? They're like, well, who else would, resort to killing? And
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And they didn't think of Cora because they don't know she's there, but they thought of Rumple.
Well, it was also who wanted to frame Regina.
Well, they think Regina thinks Cora's dead too. Her last memory of her mom.
Well, no, they know that she's alive now because.
Oh, that's right.
Because they were
Brain fart.
communicating. Yeah. It's only because I just watched that episode today before I came in.
Go, girl. You go, girl.
I had a lot of free time today.
So, the Dreamcatcher, we find out, I mean, we already knew that Emma was innately magical, but this is one of the first times that she uses her magic in Storybrooke. And she extracts the memories from this Dreamcatcher, from the dog. And they are led to believe that it is actually Regina who killed Archie. But I mean, she seemed to do that effortlessly, like extracting those memories and using her magic. Like, she needed a little bit of coaching from Rumple, but not much.
Some serious concentration. Like, I want to know what she was doing, like, to trigger.
Yeah, because I want to do it.
Yeah, because he just kept saying to will it. And when people tell me that, I don't know what it means to do. And I just go, oh, yeah, And I still don't know what you mean. Will it? Okay.
I think it's one of those things, like, if, you know, one of your loved ones is under a car, you can move a car. It's like, if you really have to do something, you
just
will it to happen.
Believe in yourself to do it?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you just, like, you need it to happen, so you make it happen.
Like that human strength that we don't realize we have.
You have it in you, but it's just not always, like, present.
Right.
So
dormant.
Yeah.
Dormant magic.
Big word.
I will will something, like that cup to move. You guys will see later.
Telekinesis. All right.
You just don't have magic in you.
Aww.
So they go and they confront, or they come up with this plan to confront Regina with the help of the Blue Fairy and try to trap her again. And this time it doesn't work.
Fool me once. Pretty much.
Exactly.
It was, I mean, good job on Regina's part. She was all there. She sees them, you know, trying to confront her, and then within a millisecond of the Blue Fairy jumping out, she had stopped it, and she just threw the fairy dust on the ground.
I feel like maybe we shouldn't yell out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the giveaway. I don't know, but maybe if she just came out really quietly and did it on her own, maybe it would have worked a little
Maybe
better.
even from the roof, that might have helped, you know, but
screaming out like now and then having like now. Okay, now I have time to react to whatever you're yelling at. And
Right. I love how the Blue Fairy's just there. She's just there to intercede everything.
she's an important person.
Yeah.
she is.
But this is, I mean, it's the second time it's happened. It happened so similarly in the past. And, I mean, I think she knows her role by now. But Regina disappears in a purple cloud of smoke. And now Emma is left with the task of how to tell Henry. Because, I mean, Regina was trying to change. She, you know, Henry still believes that there's good in her, and it doesn't seem so.
And Emma seems a little heartbroken that she was fooled too. So I kind of wonder if Henry's gonna believe it fully.
Well, we did see at the end, like, they were sitting on a bench and he was crying about it, so I feel like he does kind of believe it.
Kind of, right?
Yeah.
Well, of course, but I wonder if, like, he'll be the
It'll
savior
stick,
again or something.
Yeah.
And you saw Regina
That heartbreaking
crying
moment,
too.
yeah.
Gosh, in the car.
Regina kills me.
See, we're
Literally.
feeling,
Literally.
She rips out your heart.
we're
Gosh,
feeling
she
for
could kill me.
Regina though.
I know.
We're
When did
actually
that
feeling for
happen?
her.
I mean, that's been something that they've been trying to work on this entire season, and I think that introducing a new evil villain, you know, Cora, she's kind of taken over Regina's role and all of the audience's hatred for her.
If they kill Regina off, it's going to be so sad.
No, I don't think they're going to do that.
They're not going to kill Regina.
She's the one you love to hate, so
Yeah.
Or
you
just love to
can't-
love now.
Or
Yeah.
love to love.
It
Love
has
to
changed.
love but still hate a little bit.
I don't hate her at all anymore.
I don't
Except when I
know.
look at her past, I'm like, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
you
when I
suck.
look at her past, I'm like,
But I think, you know, Emma wanted to see if Regina could change too, because Emma mentioned that she wasn't the greatest person in her past, and then just that the same thing, you know, because Emma changed, and maybe Regina can change too.
Yeah, and I think Emma was hurt about it too because she has that whole thing where I can tell if people are lying to me, and she really believed Regina when she told her that she didn't do it, and her whole reaction and everything. So I think that's another reason why Emma was like, no, like she's innocent, and now it's heartbreaking for her too because she did believe, but when the evidence is that strong, kind of have to go with it.
I was wondering, where can Regina hide in Storybrooke? I feel like it's such a small place, but she seems to, you know, be able to hide out in a car.
Does she really need to hide? I mean, the way to get her is kind of to trap her, right?
Yeah.
So I think she could stay at her house all day and be like, I'm putting a force field over here. You guys are ridiculous.
Maybe down in that cage or dungeon where she kept Maleficent as a drink.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I guess we will find out in the next episode. So back to Korra. We ended the episode with Korra and Hook. And Korra explains to Hook her, you know, entire plan of how she, you know, wants to bring Regina down and then help her back up. And she says that she has a present for Hook. And I realized before we get into that, I forgot to mention a little tidbit from the very beginning of the episode with Korra. When they arrive on the ship, there's a swan in the harbor.
Oh, yes.
Which I don't know the significance of that yet, but maybe Emma Swan. Or
Swan Princess.
Yes.
That's a good story.
That'd be so cool to see Odette.
Yeah. So, Hook gets his present, and it's Archie. Archie Hopper.
Archie's alive.
Which, it would have been such an anticlimactic way for him to
I would have been so mad if he had been dead and that was the way they killed him off. I just would have been so angry because he just deserves so much more than that. He deserves a fight if he's going to go down, you know, he just...
None of us believed it, though, because I think we all said when we were watching the episode, if she wanted to kill him, if Korra wanted to kill anyone, she would take their heart out.
Yeah.
She wouldn't just, like, do a purple puff of smoke around them. There was something more going on there. So.
More motives.
Yes. And we have a ton of, you know, clues as to what's going to happen in the next episode.
Yeah.
But unless you guys have anything else from today's episode, I think we should move on to news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, just for Marissa, we're going to start off with the big one that she's so excited about.
So excited.
Rose McGowan is coming to Once Upon a Time.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Okay, for all of you who don't know, Rose McGowan played Paige Matthews in Charmed, which is one of my favorite all-time shows. Yes, I own every single season of Charmed, so I'm a huge fan. To see Rose McGowan play another magical character, that's just awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
And she's going to be playing a young Korra, so at least we'll kind of get more information on her backstory, you know, being the miller's daughter and whatnot. Some other news and gossip that happened over the holidays. This is kind of a spoiler alert because I'm going to give out episode titles.
Spoiler alert.
Yes. Adam Horowitz was on a Twitter rampage over the holiday season. Like every day he was giving spoilers like left and right. So he revealed a bunch of the episode titles. 211 is the outsider. 212 in the name of the brother. 213 Tiny. 214 Manhattan. 215 the queen is dead. And 216 the miller's daughter. So I'm thinking that's when we're going to see Rose come into play.
Yes.
Some other things that he tweeted out, and this was literally all he would tweet, is Charming's real name is coming soonish. Ethan Embry coming soonish. Prince Philip will return, which we did talk about before the break about the little tweet that we saw. Smee is coming back. And Storybrooke is clearly getting a lot more crowded, is what he said.
Yes.
Well, with a title like The Outsiders, you know that other people are coming in.
Other people are coming. For sweeps news, Neil Cassidy will be returning, and August will be coming back into play soon, and we will find out what is inside that box.
Finally!
They are going to tell us what's in the box. Praise Jesus. The saddest news that I have ever right now is that Eddie Kitsis confirmed that the huntsman is definitely dead and will never be returning.
Ever?
That is what he said.
But not even in like flashbacks?
Nope, he said will never return.
Graham.
So I was
Graham.
like, Graham,
He had a crappy ending.
he had a crappy ending,
If
right?
anyone deserves a better ending, he does.
He does.
Come on.
He definitely does.
Darn.
Sorry. Oh yeah, and they did say that Captain Hook and Mr. Gold / Rumpelstiltskin, they will be having their standoff very soon. I think it's coming in the next episode.
we
according
see
to
that it's coming.
But they just said that you won't have to wait around for anything on that. Like, you will get answers. There will be a standoff, and it will happen very soon. And then just the last little bit is that Bailey Madison, who plays Young Snow, tweeted out on Friday that she was back in Vancouver shooting for Once Upon a Time. So we will be seeing more Young Snow soon, too.
That's awesome. I love Bailey Madison just because she has like all the mannerisms of the adult Snow. Like they match those two perfectly.
She's just such a little cutie too.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
hopefully Rose McGowan will have all the mannerisms of Cora.
Oh yeah.
I think it'll be easy for Rose McGowan.
The thing with Rose McGowan, if you ever watched Charmed, you know she can play an evil character. So I'm so excited.
Yeah. Yes. So let's move right on to predictions. I guess.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV.
I always forget about that. Predictions. So, as the creator said, we are going to see a feud, the actual face-off between Rumple and Hook in the next episode, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I think I was prepared to wait at least a couple episodes, but I'm ready for it to happen.
I'm wondering, I think that Hook's going to have to use more manpower rather than magic. I think Rumple is going to be surprised because he has not mentioned Hook as an arch nemesis in Storybrooke at all.
Thought about that guy.
Well, in the little snippets that we saw, Rumple having the power over Hook real quick, and then we saw Hook almost, with a gun, looking like he was going to shoot Rumple. So I really don't know who's going to win that face-off.
And is it crazy that I kind of hope Rumple wins if it has to be one or two?
Really?
Well, because I think he has so much story with him.
Yeah. I hope that they fight and that then they can resolve everything.
That'd be great.
Maybe they'll become best friends afterwards. To Disney.
I think Rumple's gonna cross the line.
Well, it looked like
I think he's definitely just gonna cross the line. I don't know what's gonna happen, but something.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna go further into getting his son.
Yeah.
They're both characters that have good and evil in them, so it'll be interesting to see who actually prevails, since I feel like they're kind of balanced in that way.
I feel like I feel like they have to find a way, because I mean they do say it's not going to be pretty, whatever this outcome is. Maybe someone will lose another limb or something like that. I don't know what it's not going to be pretty means, but I feel like they both need to still be around for different reasons. Like Rumple because of like the backstory of everyone, and then Hook because I mean the chemistry between him and Emma is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that crazy.
I think it is, and I think that it's something that they might want to explore a little bit.
If Neil Cassidy is coming back, I don't think
Which
that
is why
Emma's gonna need another boyfriend.
But I think that's why you're gonna need Hook there to.
But I think Cora would need Hook more so than Emma.
Yeah,
Cora would need Hook.
I think Cora's gonna
alliance.
I think
if Cora
Cora's
had a boyfriend, she wouldn't be as mean.
Yeah, but she's gonna get Regina back
True.
because Regina's at her lowest point ever with absolutely no one and is gonna need her mommy. So then Cora doesn't really need Hook.
I also predict that Cora and Regina are gonna have a face-off, and one of them is gonna die.
I think that'll happen eventually once Regina finds out what Cora did to her. But I think for the next couple episodes, I think that they're going to be attached at the hip.
I completely agree with you.
I don't think someone's gonna die. I think one of them's gonna be completely stripped of their powers.
Yeah. Like in that way.
That way, defeating the queen. The queen is dead.
Yeah.
Which queen? The Queen of Hearts or the evil queen?
Yes, we don't know.
We don't know.
I'm definitely interested to hear more about that Miller's daughter story, because I think we've predicted this in the past, but I think that there was some ties to from Cora to King George, and whether they were romantically involved.
If he's actually Regina's dad.
Yeah, and that's also, I mean, if you know the story about Rumpelstiltskin, the Miller's daughter is like, that's it. That's
literally the story. I'm excited for Manhattan. I don't know why. Maybe it's my love of New York. Maybe because Manhattan makes me think of Mad Hatter, and Mad Hatter. A lot of people have been throwing out Neil Cassidy's name because of his New York apartment.
Yeah,
but
Maybe
I just
he'll
think,
come to story.
Yeah, I just feel like Manhattan's gonna have a lot of twists and.
What was the sequence of was Manhattan before The Outsiders, or?
The Outsider is first. That's 211. And then 212 is In the Name of the Brother, which makes me think of Dr. Whale storyline. And then Tiny, which I don't understand. And then Manhattan.
Maybe it's the dwarfs.
Maybe the dwarfs, yeah.
Maybe.
And then Manhattan, The Queen is Dead, The Miller's Daughter.
Okay.
So I feel like those wham bam smack you in the face.
I think everything is gonna move really fast.
That's probably taking us through like February sweeps or something right there.
I gotta say, I loved how this episode was just back and forth. It really felt like season 1, how it was real world, fairy tale land, real world, fairy tale land, and that's what this episode was. It wasn't like all sporadic and non-linear like it has been this whole first part of the season.
I really enjoyed
it. was easier to follow along.
It was a good episode. If someone has never seen an episode yet and we're coming in for the first time, I feel like it was something that you could follow pretty easily and get addicted to it like us.
So we have some predictions for our after show next week. We actually have a very special guest coming on our after show, Sarah Bolger, who plays Aurora. We didn't get to see her at all this episode, but we are very excited to have her, as she has been an integral part of this entire season thus far. So hopefully she can answer any fan questions. If you do have fan questions, you can tweet all of us. We'll give you our Twitter handles in a second, but it's just something exciting for us.
Super
as
exciting.
I'm excited.
Once Upon a Time fans,
Awesome.
So, do you guys have any more predictions?
Can't wait for next week.
Is it next week already?
Yes. I predict the rest of the season will be very good. We'll be on the edge of our seat. So, if you'd like to follow all of us, you can follow us on AfterBuzz TV on Twitter, and you can follow me at Cathy Kelley.
I'm at TweetT22, TWEETEE22.
And I am at Serafini TV.
And I'm at KAORIOUS.
Curious.
Yes.
So make sure to tweet us your questions for Sarah. And if you would like to continue the conversation with us throughout the week, we are always happy to do that. Because we're always talking about Once Upon a Time.
Tweet us.
So until next week, see you then.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.